Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC, back for another video. And I'm sure, like me, you'll enjoy this because this goes to show you that, what goes around comes around. To put it short and sweet, but it's good to see these people that have caused so much pain and misery on the earth. And let's just talk about here in America. And now they're starting to reap what they've sown. It's a beautiful thing. But first and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Gosh, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who ruled well. Let me check my volume real quick. All right, glad I did. All right. Therefore, they deserve double honor. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, pushing the truth across four corners of the earth, of course, aided by the many, many videos that go out over the airwaves and are there for the edification, mainly of the hopeful elect of our people, but they are there for any and everyone. Although we realize that a lot of you still view this as entertainment. Oh well. That's on you, as I usually say. But let's go ahead and get the copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. However, non-profit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Fair use, fair use, fair use. All right. Once again, we're going to go over to Mr. Phil Scott's podcast. All right. White American says he can't afford groceries, gas, and a home. Should we have sympathy?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have seen my streams for a while, I have been saying for a minute that these folks is going to become so distraught during this Trump administration that they're going to be at their wits' end, that they're not going to know what to do with themselves. They're going to have mental breakdowns. They just going to go through it, okay? And by the time they enter the Trump administration, they won't be coming to us, literally begging us like, what are you guys doing? How have you guys made it like this in this country? We don't know what to do. You understand? Now, I want you to check out what this white gentleman has to say. And he's going to say some legitimate things that's going on, but I want you to just pay attention to how he's viewing things. Let's go ahead and check this out.
We can't keep doing this. Last night I went to the grocery store. 2 bags of groceries, $72. This morning I stopped and filled up my tank, $60. I just put gas in it 2 days ago. I do drive a little bit to work, but no matter what you do, you got nothing. No matter how hard you work, no matter how early you go in, no matter how much you make, you got nothing. At the end of the week, you got nothing. Can't afford a house. Can't afford food. Can't afford utilities. Every time you go to the store, a bag of chips is like $6 or $7. A loaf of bread, $5. Gallon of milk, $5. The only thing that's cheap is a dozen eggs. I've been thinking about living off eggs. Have an egg for breakfast, have a hard-boiled egg for lunch, and have a omelet with no cheese for dinner. It seems like everybody in the world has nothing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, now let's just keep it a buck with the truth. I mean, yes, he's right. You don't have to buy much at the grocery store, and you're spending, he's right, almost $100. It's literally ridiculous. He's 100% right about that. He's right about the gas prices. He's right about people not being able to get homes. But he's saying that on a personal note. That's why he's angry like that. Because you have to understand. You remember we covered the other gentleman? Well, he was saying that they just told us to work hard and everything will be handed to you. See, that's what it is right there. They were told just to work hard and everything will be handed to them. See, what's happening to them right now, black people, we know, is that they're experiencing that life that we have experienced in this country. And they not liking it. How many times we couldn't afford groceries? A lot of black people still don't have homes to this day, right? It's not because we don't want them. It's because of their racist policies. A lot of times why we don't have homes. Can't qualify for a home because of their racist policies. Black folks couldn't afford gas a whole lot of times. We know how to make it work. We know how to make our gas stretch. We know how to do it all, right? And we always fare out well. No black people have ever starved. We know how to make $1 out of 15 cents. We always talked about that. We always said that we know how to make lemonade out of lemons because we've always been given the worst of the worst. We've been given the worst economy, the worst.
Yes, and we have our oppressor to, our thanks for that, really, when you look at it. Just as he said, like we've always said, even if it was in our own minds, these people are really weak. How are they going to respond when, as Dr. Cornel West so aptly put it, you white people have been niggerized? And you're seeing they're not too comfortable with it. And this is just the beginning, and he's going to get to the next. This is just the beginning, and they're spazzing out. Wow. All kind of scriptures that go into how what goes around comes around. See, these people, they view themselves as so intelligent. But notice, not wise. There's a difference.
Worst food, the worst health care, the worst education. We've been given the worst of it all, while people like that gentleman in that video have been given the best. And now he's starting to experience the life that was given to us here in America. Now we're getting some true equality for a change. And he and his others in his community aren't liking it. There's so many of them crashing out every day on TikTok that they can't afford anything, that they don't want to have children because they can't afford it. A lot of them can't afford to move out their parents' home. They're saying that they're in debt. Life wasn't supposed to be like this for them. They're supposed to be enjoying the summer vacations and all of this, and now they can't afford to even drive down a doggone street. Once again, I will say this. For years, decades even, black Americans have been telling y'all this. But none of you cared about the economy. Nobody cared about the price of food. Nobody cared about the price of gas. Nobody cared about the health care. Nobody cared about daycare. Nobody cared about any of it because you was being treated well and getting preferential treatment while we was getting the worst of the worst. Now the system is so greedy that they say, oh no, we're not going to give them preferential treatment. We want them in the same position as those black folk. And here's the thing, because y'all approve the treatment of black folk with bad food, no jobs, no raises, not proper health care, etc. Because you guys approved of that treatment. That way when they bring it to you, you can't really say much. You can complain, but you can't say much because you was collaborating with them. We're talking about as a collective, not as individuals, but you collaborated with those in your community, the elites, to harm us. And the whole time.
And there you go. Let's get some scriptures. Oh my goodness. Let's go to, oh man, this is beautiful. Like I said, let's go to Psalms 9. 9 and 15. It says, the heathen are sunk down, all right, in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot. See, a lot of you Edomites that, I don't know, maybe you're beginning to realize it now because of the situation that you're now in. But a lot of you are unaware that the elites, just you, by extension, because you looked like them, they didn't really give a fuck about you, for real. That's how I always refer back to Bacon's Rebellion. All right, the strategy that was used, and you all just ran with it. And of course, with Jake's situation here, we've, like I said, by your actions against us, you actually helped us. There's scripture on that, but if you do anything to the good of others, I'm paraphrasing, that it was an accident. Let's see if I can find that real quick. All right, let's see. Yeah, because now you're feeling it. Now it's a problem. Now it's a problem. Typical, Here we go. I found it. Let's see. Make sure I'm in the right. All right. All right. All right, here we go. This is Sirach 14. And let's get to verse 7 here, all right? You know what? I started 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. All right. And this actually links up this verse here into Sirach 10 and let's see, is it 9? He selleth his own soul. Verse 6, there is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Now, the point is in 7. It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. And we're at that point now where all is being revealed. All right, and damn, I don't know why I dismissed it like that, because, and again, this is of his own doing. This is him getting caught up in his own shit. All right, his own schemes. All right, once again, 9 and 15. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Most High, whose name is Yahweh, is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgin Salah. All right, let's go to, let's see. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Crap. Sorry about that. All right. It says, let destruction come upon him at unawares. A lot of you were just thought everything was going to continue on. And said, look at those lazy nerds. Won't they just get another job, work harder? Yeah. Let destruction come upon him at unawares, and let his net that he had hid catch himself into that very destruction. Let him fall. This is King David. All right, and look. Oh, man. Like I said, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Well, we're witnessing, as it says in Sirach 25 and 7. All right. We're living in a time where we're seeing the downfall of our enemy. Let's go back to the video.
And they'll lacing you up to do the same thing to you. And some of you realize it now, but it's too late. Because now you in the thick of it now, buddy. So the high gas prices, the high food prices, losing your job, getting fired and laid off, so they can, get more corporate profits. And we talking about big corporations. We're not talking about small mom and pop organizations who may have to run lean and mean. And just sometimes you have to do that in organizations. We talking about major corporations are letting people go who actually can afford to pay, who really don't need to employ a bunch of AI because they can actually hire people to do it because they make enough money. But these people are so greedy that they will fire a bunch of people just so they don't have to pay benefits. This is where white America is at today. You have been put in the same position as black Americans. And it's not a good feeling being in the bottom, isn't it? It's not a good feeling. It's nothing great about being at the bottom. But we told y'all, and a lot of you was being racist the whole time. This why nobody would give you sympathy. This is why.
That's right.
Because you was a collaborator. And now that white supremacy turned on you, now you want to cry. Nope. Enjoy your new life. But as black people, we rising up, baby. You don't hear us crying and complaining about a whole lot. Yeah, we may talk about the gas prices, but guess what? Black folks gonna be all right. Black folks gonna eat. We gonna enjoy our life. We gonna take vacations this summer. We gonna do cookouts. Make sure you listen to Meet Me at the Cookout.
Partially true, but what's coming for Jake? Because hey, that's part of the prophecy. You got Jacob's trouble coming, so can't relax, and that's where you have to, this sounds all well and good, but like I say, these people that we use for either articles or videos like this, they're not seeing the whole picture. All right, and here we go. This is Jeremiah. Why is this thing? Okay. Restoration for Israel and Judah. But before that happens, it says, verse 7, it says, alas, for that day is great, this day that's coming, that's fastly approaching upon us, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. How? We go to Daniel. All right, it's the reason. Actually, Isaiah 13, let's go there first. All right, the judgment of Babylon. We are here in Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, a land of confusion. All right, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exhort the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles, which we are doing. Each time we go out, all right, not sitting in these old musty churches, isolated, but no, all right, we're out there in plain sight of everybody in the agora. All right, everybody got heavy cross section of people. And we do that for that very reason, because, all right, 1 John, let me keep jumping around here, but this is how you're going to, because as we were scattered amongst all the nations, you're going to have Jake that look like the other nations. That's so simple. So everybody has an opportunity to hear the word, all right? Let's see. I have commanded, verse 3, my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Another, again, it's just telling you why we're out there, all right, on the highways and byways, all right. A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together, all right. The Most High, the Lord of hosts, mustereth a host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Most High Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Most High is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs, all right, those pangs, and sorrows, all right, shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Pangs, all right? All right. Isaiah 21, verse 3 or 4. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. You're already seeing the beginnings of famine, all right, taking effect. A lot of people still don't realize how much this oil crisis is going to affect everything, even down, your food, everything, clothing. All right. It said, therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken a hold upon me as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. It's not only hearing about it, but you're going to experience it firsthand. It says, my heart panted, filthiness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. A lot of you people, as this guy here, and the subject of this video, oh boy, it just was not possible that America could go down. We white folk, we gonna, oh man, as it says in Psalms 49:11, they thought this was going to continue forever. Paraphrasing, of course. All right, but now you're seeing that it ain't the case. And the people that we're discussing here, they usually, as it says when you go into the Wikipedia and you look up lynching, and there's a segment there about the U.S. and what they call extrajudicial killings. And throughout the history of America, when situations like this arose concerning the economy, who did they go after? Jake. So why would you expect anything else than history, all right, has recorded? Yeah, it's coming. We keep trying to tell you it's coming. All right, continuing on. Behold, the day of the Most High cometh, verse 9, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud, there you go, to cease. All right, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious, as an Israelite man, than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place, in the wrath of the Most High, the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger, and it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. These immigrants, the ones they've been, see, you coming here to America for two main reasons. All right. This, you're going to be judged to be saved or destroyed. 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. This is where we're getting into 2 Ezra 15 and 16 chapters. All right, let's start with 15. All right, starting at 14, where Ezra just said, woe is me, You know, what am I going to do in these days? Because he saw the vision. And that's another scripture there that goes into regeneration, as it says in the New Testament. But all right, let's see. Everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. All right. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. All right. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. Again, 2 Ezra 15 and 16. All right. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. We're seeing that right before our eyes. Ezekiel 38th chapter. All right. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Did they not do this to the Israelites? Show no pity. You study that history from the time of Columbus coming over here to the so-called New World. It's rife with just that. How they did Northern Kingdom. 19, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we're headed. That's prophecy that's going to be fulfilled. It's already in the works. There's no turning back. This place is through. And I say good riddance.
Out about Soraya, the songstress. That's out now on all streaming platforms. It's a cookout, but we're going to be enjoying ourselves. 100%. We're going to be enjoying ourselves. We're not going to be broke. We're going to thrive. You know why? Because this is a walk in the park for us as black people.
See, this is where we get into the separation between the masses, and I'm talking about Jake here. You know, Zechariah 13th chapter, verse 8. You know, 2/3 of our people got to go. This is not going to carry over into the kingdom. Our people are, in fact, let's go Hosea. There's a reason why it has to happen this way. This is Hosea 4. Let's go at the top. The Lord accuses Israel. It says, hear the word of the Most High Yahweh, ye children of Israel. For the Most High Yahweh hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of Yahweh Yahweh in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Your black on black crime. Therefore, verse 3, shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Let no man strive nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. Therefore shalt thou fall. It's the same as it was in the ancient days. All right, Ecclesiastes 1:9. There's no new thing under the sun. All right, it says, therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. This is why it had to happen this way, because generation after generation after generation, Israel, hey, the book of Judges in itself is a prime example of the repetitiveness. All right, Jake gets saved. You know, they end up fucking up and getting thrown back into captivity by another nation. All right, they scream and call out for deliverance. It happens. It's repeat, wash and repeat, until finally Jeremiah 17:4, everything was stripped away from us. All right. And this was all Israel. But was all Israel wicked? No. But this is how the Most High does it. He punishes the nations. And this goes to these Edomites. Well, I never owned a slave or anything. You were never a slave, and all this other shit. making excuses. No, your ass is gone. All right. Therefore shall thou fall in the day, and the prophets also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. There you go. All right. And this is well before what happened in Matthew with the Lord. 27th chapter, and let's go to get the abridged version, so to speak. Let's go to Acts 3. Let's go down here to 13. It says, the God, let's see, the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob, the God of our fathers, hath glorified his Son, Yahushua, whom ye delivered up, and denied him in the presence of Pilate, when he was determined to let him go. But ye denied the Holy One and the just, and desired a murderer, Barabbas, to be granted unto you, and killed the Prince of Life, all right, whom the Most High, whose name is Yahweh, hath raised from the dead, whereof we are witnesses. Another scripture is pointing to the fact that you're talking about two separate entities. All right. So this is what we did, and you expect to, oh no, 2/3 got to go. 2/3 got to go. So all this, as we, as in collectively, we all know there's going to be a separation. Right?
White America, you have trained us for such a time as this. You did it. You were not prepared for it, but we are. And we will continue to cover these crash outs by them, because
Yes.
you know, notice nobody telling them pull themselves up by the bootstraps, stop complaining, just go to work some overtime. Notice nobody telling them that. They just letting them talk. And maybe black people, you see them videos, you start telling them, hey, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Don't be a victim. You know, victimhood is not going to get you anywhere. Hard work, right? That's what they should be told right now, just like we were told. It's time to be petty. Oh, yes, it's time to be petty. Because they did that mess to us for decades. Well, now it's our turn. But anyway, we will continue to cover these stories because, yes, I've been here doing this for a long time, and they were telling us what I just said about bootstrapping and working and stop being a victim. You know what I'm saying? And it don't help the situation when somebody tell you that, but they got to figure that mess out the hard way, obviously. But you better figure it out, sir. Figure it out, because it's not about to get no easier, no time.
So there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have...
There you go. It's not much more I can say to add to that. It is what it is. But again, it's beautiful watching this. All right. I might as well get what I quoted earlier. Let's see. All right. This is Sirach. Come on now. There we go. 25:7. I'll end it with this. I promise. All right, here we go. Sirach 25, verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, which you really can't have in this present world. But here's my point. And he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Yes. There you go. Luke 10:18. So that's going to do it for me here. Wow. Like I say, this is just the beginning. And these people are spazzing out, as it were. Again, a beautiful thing to see. So with that, I'm going to end it here. And as always, I like to ask, hey, for those of you that have been edified, I hope you have. This is what we do here at Great Millstone, and I'd like to encourage you also to remain circumspect out here, especially now, for the very reasons in this video. Certain people can't handle adversity like others. I think we've made that point also in this video. And also, hey, keep those eyes and ears open as a result. So with that, until the next video, hey, shalom.